I'm the kind of guy who will like lock the door, get about half a block away and go,
I forgot to lock the door, I better go back.
Lock the door?
Yeah.
What about you? Are you like that?
Sometimes. I mean, not often, but I've noticed that I'm more forgetful. Like, I'll just sit down my lighter somewhere instead of, like, you know, for my pack of cigarettes, and then I'll grab my cigarette and I'll go walking out the door to smoke it and realize that I sat my lighter down. Have to turn around and go back and get it. You know?
Have you ever had your house broken into?
No, and I'm very fortunate that that hasn't happened.
Or your car stolen, or?
Well, I've never had a car stolen. I mean, obviously I've had car stereos stolen. My CDs and tapes and stuff back in the day were stolen out of my car, but I mean, nothing too bad lately. I think the last worst thing that happened to anybody in Suffocation was we went to Serbia and we played a show there, and Guy had a knapsack that had, like, you know, iPod, camera, you know, all sorts of just valuable stuff in it, cables, and, you know, and it got stolen, and it was, you know, maybe about $4,000 worth of gear in it. So that was, like, probably the worst thing that's happened to any of us as far as getting robbed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty
not too bad.
It was beat. The country was beautiful, though, mind you, but it was kind of funny when you went and seen how we actually bombed all the buildings strategically, and, you know, all that footage was gone because it got stolen, so we couldn't even show it to anybody, you know.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it was too bad, but yeah, it's real, and I mean, just for shits and giggles' sake, yeah, Serbia was a beautiful country. Nice. It was beautiful.
And speaking of bombings, there was one today.
Yeah, you know, I heard about that, and it's kind of funny because it just doesn't seem. Why would they go after a marathon? Like, does it seem like, you know, anything like politically correct? Like, you're not doing anything to anybody. You know what I mean? Especially going after the system. So bombing that, who knows? You know, it just sounds pretty unstable in general.
Well, until we find out who it is, we will never know. We won't know what their motives are.
We will never know. We're probably offhand, and they'll probably keep it secret in general anyway for security reasons. You know,
it could be political. It could be just some psychopath.
Right. That's right. Could just be either or. So it's kind of a shame because, you know, I mean, people were running for their health. They weren't running to die. Right. You know what I mean?
This is the Mighty Z of Capital Chaos TV, and we're hanging out here with Terrance of Suffocation. How's it going, man?
Actually, it's going pretty well, man. We're, I don't know, I guess maybe about into the second full week of touring on this tour, man. Spies the World Tour, and we've been having a great time, man. Having a good time, man. Shows have been pretty good. People have been really excited about our new record, and we're just doing our thing, man.
And tonight, the singer will be?
Frank Mullen.
Whoa, how did that happen?
Oh, well, you know, Frank has a full-time job, and, you know, in this economy, for him to actually lose everything really wouldn't be a good idea, especially at the amount of touring that Suffocation itself does. So throughout the beginning of this tour, he came, he did 2 shows, then for a week he went back to work and flew in right in Seattle, which in turn is why he's here for the rest of the tour. You know, we did have a fill-in. We had Mr. John Gallagher from Dying Fetus fill-in. He did an amazing job. Really good dude. We've known him for such a long time being on the East Coast. And it just seemed like a pretty good fill-in. And he was into it and had the time off. So it happened to work out, and it allowed us to get out here to come and play in front of all you people.
Yeah, Frank is no longer at that age where he could just say, fuck it, and then try to fix it later.
Yeah, he really can't. I mean, for the main musicians of the band, I mean, literally the band with the exception of Frank, you know, we've all devoted ourselves to doing as much music and touring and such for Suffocation, keep the ball rolling. And Frank, as much as he wants to be a part of it, he can't. He's running into more and more issues, economy-wise, you know, him being able to get free time off. I mean, we used up, like, every ounce of Frank's spare time that he possibly could, and still to this day, I mean, we're going and doing spot shows and flying in and out of different places on the days that Frank has off in order to fit the bill so we can get the extra touring in that the band needs to do. So, you know, from label to just the mentality of the band, even to Frank and everybody else, it's kind of a shame that it is that way, and that's what society does to people. It doesn't allow them to pursue their dreams to the fullest most of the time anymore. But, you know what? We're still here. We're still out kicking ass, and that's all that matters.
I completely understand. Now, I know a local musician that's in a pretty big band here in town, okay. And but it's come to my attention that he makes actually more money selling his signature guitars than he does being in the band. Are you? Do you got some other music-related income, or that you care to share?
Well, I mean, you know, I do a little bit of mixing and stuff at home, you know, just for, you know, some local bands and stuff back there. Nothing too, like, big or huge. I do have my own signature guitar through BC Rich, which is pretty cool. That seems to have been selling okay. It's not, like, through the roof or anything. But then again, we're underground and, you know, it's BC Rich for you. I mean, pretty much, you know, we just do the same old, same old. I do some side fill-in studio work for some bands, you know. The new Criminal Element record is out. Both me and Derek, my bass player, played on it. You know, so, I mean, we just try to fit the bill with as much music as possible, but a lot of the time we're just busy either writing or rehearsing older material just to bring it out onto the road. So it's a full-time job, pretty much.
Now, your new album really kicks ass. I've been listening to it pretty regularly. Do you think this is one of your best CDs ever?
I do, actually. I think it's right up there with the ones that everybody else seems to like the most. For me, of course, this one's my favorite. A lot of time and effort went into this one, just as well as the other ones. But, you know, as time goes on, I kind of get bored of playing the same song and dance all the time. So with this new record, it kind of alleviates a lot of that pressure off of me with the newer songs that we're playing. And I really think that the production is probably the best to date. I think the drumming is the best to date. I think the bass playing, I think overall as a product, it's really good. And I just want you guys to go out and get it, man. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do.
And you have yet another track from Breeding the Spawn on there.
Yeah, well, you know, the Breeding the Spawn album, it was a pretty bad time for us back when that album came out. You know, we didn't really have as much of a technological edge as far as recording gear and just as the learning curve. You know, back then we were still really naive to the fact of even recording anything at that time. And so I think that album got a really raw shake as far as production value and quality. So if you guys haven't noticed, most of the records that we put out, we usually do re-record a Breeding the Spawn song. So there's 2 more songs left to go before you'll be able to get every Suffocation record and actually recreate that album, and it'll sound like something.
Is it possible that you'll be going back after you're done with Breeding the Spawn to Effigy of the Forgotten?
Well, I think that album actually in its entirety had a pretty decent production behind it. So there's really no need to go and, like, you know, redo something that already came out pretty well. It's just Breeding the Spawn's production was so bad that everybody in my band, including myself, is just like, if we can re-record one song and put it out there so people can really hear it for the way it was, for the time frame it was, and then eventually be able to just piece it together from every CD, at least you'll have something that sounds like a real recording of Breeding the Spawn. Even though the productions may differ a little bit, anything is better than that last production on it. The musicianship was great, you know, but the sound just wasn't there.